Welcome to the Dark Side of Beast Rider. I'm your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be breaking down another Pick 6 segment at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we're leaving no stone unturned. So again, there's a lot to talk about today in regards to the film study that I've been doing, right? We've been evaluating these prospects, saying who's going to do well, what these players need to do to improve in order to make the 53, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you're drafted. It's how and what you do with the opportunity that is given and afforded to you, right? And so again, what we know and what we don't know, we're going to break it down. And like I said, we've been doing a lot of legwork, talking to a lot of people, and let's just say this one's going to be a hot one. Let me write this down. My guy DK's in the house. He says, salute Dennis. Salute Nation. My guy DK always here in the house, along with D Menace and On to 6. We got our Beast Nation mods in here, controlling the room like the foot soldiers they are. Shout out to them for always hopping on the live stream, making sure everything's streamlined. The bigger we get, the more trolls we have, and I'm starting to notice it from the comments. And you can kind of tell, like, you can kind of tell, but hey, means we're growing, right? Haters make us famous. On to 6 always hit that like button, share with the nation. Or as the saying goes, they hate us because they ain't us. Daniel Kim says, like and subscribe and hit the bell button for the notifications. I have my on to 6 hours, I have my pen and paper ready. Let me write that down. Let's go ahead and talk about this. So we're going to talk about the headlines as it pertains to the undrafted rookie free agents. And like I said, I leave no stone unturned. I've always been doing it this way. And again, it's for me, I like to really, really dive deep. And again, when I hop on a live stream and talk about what this player needs to work on, what this player does well, and then cross-check it with maybe his coaches, maybe some people that I hear about who scouted this guy and what they had to say. Proof is in the pudding, always. Always. So again, don't take my word for it, but just know that the information that I'm putting out there, it's exclusive content found nowhere else on the web. And we're just going to start with a guy by the name of Jaden Grant. Here's a guy who is an undrafted rookie free agent out of Oregon State. He didn't have the fastest 40 time, but when I ran the game film, I saw things in this game that literally does not translate into what I saw in him running at his pro timing day of a 4.72, wherever the case may be. So a 4.7 for a single high free safety. Again, we're talking about Jaden Grant here. Let's put up the ticker here. All right, so he is a single high free safety. And when I ran game film on him and ran the grades on Jaden Grant, I was really impressed. First of all, who is Jaden Grant? Well, if you guys remember, right, if you guys are NBA fans and if you guys are Lakers fans in here, you guys definitely know who Brian Grant is, right? The basketball player, because he played for who? The Sacramento Kings, the Portland Trail Blazers, and a few other teams. During that time, and he was a power forward, right? So during that time frame, the rival was the Lakers, right? We all remember the Portland Trail Blazers series when Scottie Pippen was there. And then before that, when they had Jason Williams, they had Vlade Divac, they had Peja Stojakovic, they had Bobby Jackson, they had all these different players. And all these Kings are coming out of the woodworks. Like, I'm a Kings fan. Just joking. It is kind of funny, though, because like there's players, and look, I know basketball just like I know football. I've been kind of out of touch the last 5 years, I would say, just because I have a lot going on in my life. Which is the DOB. No, I've been a huge fan of the NBA since I was a kid. Like, and again, there's layers to this, right? So what does that mean? Well, Jaden Grant is the son of Brian Grant. Let me write this down. Jaden Grant is the son of Brian Grant. All right. So Jaden Grant, what he brings to the table, and for those who don't know, how he spells his name is Jaydon. So it's not Jaydon, it's Jaden. All right, but just spells it differently, pronounces it the same. So Jaden, when I run the grades on Jaden, I see a guy who is very, very smart. Again, has a high football IQ, can really engage in reading pre-snap recognition from post-snap play. What I mean by that is because you run the 4.7, what do you have to do to kind of make up that speed? I talked about it with Chris Borland, who ran the 4.8. out of Wisconsin when I thought he was going to be drafted by the 49ers, even though they had first team all pros, Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis there. And people are like, you're crazy. They're not going to take Chris Borland in the third. Like, they're not even going to take a middle linebacker because you have to first. I was like, okay, Beast receipt checks out. And that's where Chris Borland gave me the nickname Beast Domus. But he ran a 4.8, all right, back in 2014. And then fast forward, and we became good friends after that. But look, after that, right? So after that and the whole thing, he ran a 4.8. People were like, oh, he has alligator arms. And people were saying, oh, he's too slow. He's not going to be good. Look, if you have good instinct and you know how to be a film junkie, you can kind of use that to your advantage. Just like if he had 4.3 speed like Jacorian Bennett, but if he doesn't watch film, then again, that's where the work ethic is going to catch up to the talent. Because you can't coach speed. Speed kills in the NFL. We all know this. But at the end of the day, if you're not going to be able to use that God-given ability to elevate your stock to the next level, you're just always going to be a fast guy. That's it. And then get by the talent that got you to the NFL in the first place. Because let's face it, from high school to college, you're getting by pure athletic ability. From college to the NFL, you better be fundamentally sound or learn different techniques in your toolbox. Because at the end of the day, it's a pro game. It's a grown man's game at this point, right? The hashes are a little bit condensed. You know what I'm saying? No more spread formations. So again, we're talking about Jaden Grant here, right? We're just specifically talking about Jaden Grant. And so again, what I see in Jaden Grant's film is this. Let me just pull it up right here. All right, so here's a guy who's used in a variety of different roles. If you look back, and again, I run grades on all three NFL teams, you look at a guy in the mold of similar to like a Tyrann Mathieu, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I wouldn't go as far as saying a Budda Baker type, but because again, the speed does not translate, right? Budda Baker shoots out of a cannon. But how Oregon State used him, right? How Oregon State used him in the USC game was very much like in that role. He would drop back as a single high, come climbing up inside the box. He would blitz from time to time, line up in the slot position, so the nickelback role. So again, it's a chess piece that every NFL team would love to have on your squad because he can do a variety of different things. He's not a one-trick pony. He's not simply a 3-tech defensive tackle. He's not simply a 5-technique defensive end. He's not simply a 6-technique defensive end or outside linebacker who can cover up the tight end, right? You look at a guy like this, and you can line up in a variety of different roles: strong safety, free safety, slot, boundary cornerback, if need be, right? And again, when you do that, you're confusing the quarterback pre to post snap play because he's trying to read who? The safeties. Oh, it's a too deep shell, but then they always, based on down and distance, they always go to a cover 3 or a cover 1 or whatever the case may be. And then at the same time, it's like, but wait, they have this Jaden Grant guy in the game, so maybe they show a too deep safety shell. Maybe they bring him inside the slot. Maybe Nate Hobbs translates and goes a pre-snap to false rotation on the back end there. Pre to post snap, false rotation is what we talk about, right? We talk about this here in the DOB, right? Again, you're disguising cover shells, again, on the fly because you want to confuse the quarterback so he can't go through his progressions knowing where his hot read is. Come on, someone talk to me, right? And so when you do that, you look at a guy like Jaden Grant, and that's why I think they signed him. One of the reasons why they signed him, he has a high football IQ. This guy, the 4.7 speed is ridiculous. I don't see that on film. I'll be honest with you. I see a 4.6 guy, maybe a 4.55 guy, 4.5, 4.58, 4.6. I don't see a 4.7 guy. I just don't. Just like with Christopher Smith, he ran a 4.6 as well. But he isn't on film. I see a 4.5 guy. Like, I don't see a 4.6 guy. I see a 4.4 guy on film. Again, how a guy runs in board shorts compared to what you see on film, we all know how I do this. Measurables come down to like what, 0.3 of a second, right? For the measurables. But again, there's certain times where you look and evaluate the game film and then cross-check that with the measurables at the pro day and say, hey, look, do we have to go back and say what's wrong with this? Like, why did he run a slow time? Was he injured? Was he dealing with an injury that's an undisclosed injury? Or maybe he just is not good at taking 40 times. Like, I don't care. And another piece of this is the other measurables. People put too much stock in the 40 time. Let me write this down. You're not taking into account the explosiveness from the broad jump. That's going from point A to point B using your fast twitch muscle fibers. How do I know this? I'm NASM trained. Holla at your boy. Strength and conditioning is what I do. I bodybuild. What you think? Look, aside from that, let me write this down. I just got back from the gym. Write this down. No, so this guy is a really good kid. I like what he brings to the table. This is my analysis when I graded all weekend on Jaden Grant out of Oregon State. I said, smart. You guys ready for this? All right. There's 21 of you guys watching right now. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. Look, in order for me to hop on this live stream, I have to have a strong conviction and belief and confidence in myself that I know what I'm talking about. Anybody can go to the box score and be a box score reader. I don't do that. I like taking the work and putting in that grind, because at the end of the day, it's my analysis. It's the beast analysis, right? It's mine. I watched the film. I came up with the analysis. So again, if you guys like the flavor that I bring to the table, tell all your family and friends. Tell everyone about Beast Nation. Tell everyone about the DOB fam. Right? Why would you not? Because you like what we have to provide here in the DOB, and we're growing. That's another cool thing, is we're growing. We have 16 likes and we have 21 people watching and 16 likes. Let's get those likes up a little bit, and please support me here in the DOB. That is free 99. Also, if you'd like to support on other outlets as well, you guys can do so. I have my Venmo donation that you got linked in the description box below. Also, I did receive some super thanks over the weekend and last night. After every video I post, I've been noticing that I've been getting a super thanks. So hence, if you guys are watching this on replay, you guys can send me a super thanks. So again, Mika from Germany sent me another one. Thank you so much. I just want to give you guys a shout out. And Mika watches all my videos, even being on the Germany time zone over there. So let me just give a shout out to the people who gave me super thanks. E.g., hold on, let me pull it up right here. So Mika from Germany, thank you so much. And Eric G182, thank you so much for the Pick 6 live stream yesterday for super thanks. I think that's the first super thanks I got. And if I'm not mistaken, you're from the Aloha State. Wonder if you know my sister. Anyways, all right. So Jaden Grant, this is the analysis on him. We have 21 people watching right now. Give this video a thumbs up. 21 people watching it. And yeah, we're going to talk about the analysis, but let's get those likes up because we have more people watching this than likes. I see you guys. So we can wait. We can wait a little bit. Just do me a solid. That will help out a lot. And also, if you guys want to send a donation through a super chat or a sticker here on YouTube, you guys can do that too. Look, a lot of time and effort goes into making these videos, making these live streams, dedicating my time for all of you guys. So again, I understand times are tough. So if you can't send me a super thanks or super chat, whatever the case may be, just give this video a thumbs up. 23 of us watching right now. And we have, checking the likes right now, we only have 19 likes. So we have 4 people who aren't liking it, but watching our stuff. So we'll wait. We'll wait for these guys to like it. And then we'll get going. All right, so I just want to give you guys a heads up on exactly what's going on, right? So again, when it comes to Jaden Grant and some of these other undrafted rookie free agents, we are going to do a install, right? Just like how rookie minicamp is and how phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of the off-season training program is, we have what's called installs here in the DOB. And installs is, look, I'm going to give you bits and pieces of what I see when it comes to the overall project of these undrafted rookie free agents. Why? Because in order for me to talk about every single undrafted rookie free agent, I have to do what? I have to run the grades. I have to run the grades. And in order to understand that, we will have to know exactly what's going on. But I can't do that until I run the grades. So let's just talk about Jaden Grant, right? Jaden Grant. Who the freak is Jaden Grant? Right? We just described who he is, his background. He's a smart, tough, this is my analysis after grading his film. Smart, tough, aggressive safety who can climb down into the box in a blitz roll. right? Grant has the ideal swagger and toughness to play in a single high scheme. While he isn't the biggest safety by today's standards, Grant's lack of size doesn't show up on film. All right. As he's a willing take on tackler who understands hunt and gather technique. If you watch my training camp videos, you know everything I have to say about that. And I think it's good coaching and playing too. You can kind of see things from a different lens when you evaluate game film, and then also training camp videos and training camp practice. And when I make those training camp videos, and then what he really does is he uses the 12th man, squeezing the ball carrier to the boundary and avoiding the cutback, attacking the near hip of the tackler, which would be him. I would like to see a 4.3, 4.44 guy from a single high free safety, but I see a 4.6 on film. Unfortunately, Grant doesn't have that 4.3, 4.44 speed. Instead, he relies on instincts, displaying a high football IQ, understanding route concepts to cheat his pre-snap splits based on personnel while being more quicker than fast with fluid hips to transition and phase without taking false steps. Look, that is a key. If you take false steps and you're slow, you are not going to be draftable. I'm serious. Because one, if you can't turn in phase, if you have stiff hips, we talk about hips. Hips is a key element when it comes to the defensive back room. Why? Because you have to be able to turn in stride without any choppy steps. Like, look, if you don't know how to backpedal and have a strong cadence in your backpedal, like methodical, boom, 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 just like when receivers run crisp routes, they're boom, 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 bam, right? Same thing. Defensive, just the other way, right? And the guy says, "Oh, can you flip your hips?" What does that mean? What does that mean when they say, "Can you flip your hips?" Well, exactly what it says. Can you flip your hips? Like, can you turn in phase without taking false steps? How do you know what to look for in those false steps? It's very, very easy. Same thing with basketball. When I played basketball, right, back in high school, you can tell running backwards if the guy can take false steps or not, because we all know once the ball's out and the outlet pass is going, I use my speed to my advantage. It takes me 4 dribbles to get from one side of the court to the other. And I tell you what, if I know that guy's taking false steps, I'm going to put him on skates and he's going to break his ankles. For real. Easy. You're using the guy's momentum or lack thereof against him. So, going back to Jaden Grant, how does that translate? Right? He's a willing plus tackler who should instantly provide a boost in the kicking game as a primary gunner and coverage guy with room to grow into a solid backup with proper coaching in year 1. All right. So again, Jaden Grant is a raw guy, but he is a good guy. I like Jaden Grant. I like him a lot. Now, the question remains to be seen. Can Jaden Grant fight for a starting role? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say, hold on. Not a knock on Jaden Grant, but let's see who's there, right? Let's look at the depth chart. Come on. Let's look at the depth chart. Let's look at the depth chart. So you have Trayvon Merrick, right? Free safety. You also have Christopher Smith, right? Free safety. You also have guys like Marcus Epps, strong safety, right? So again, just right there, where does he fit? I mean, do you honestly think an undrafted rookie free agent is going to unseat Christopher Smith, who was a good value find in the 5th round? I don't see it. Christopher Smith is my favorite pick in this entire draft class outside of Michael Mayer. And the more I think about it, the more I think that Christopher Smith is going to be one of those guys that all the beat writers, including myself, are going to talk about and be like, hey, man, this guy is the real deal. My job right now is to find those other guys that no one is talking about, really, and identify those diamonds in the rough when evaluating the game film. See, there's a difference there. Anybody can throw darts at the board and say, hey, look, yeah, this guy's good, blue, B. But what's the meat and potatoes? For me, it always comes back to the game film. So I specifically picked out Jaden Grant. And I'm specifically picking out another player that I'm going to be discussing tomorrow. Because again, for me to come on and talk about something like this, it takes a lot of effort, time is money, and energy, right? So here we go. But yeah, and then you have also Isaiah Pola-Mao there, right? The undrafted rookie free agent, one of four that made the roster last year, along with Luke Masterson, Darian Butler, and of course Sam Webb. Daniel Kim said, our O-line might be a strength this year, which opens up our whole offense. Absolutely. Raider Kush is in the house. He says, salute fam, bro B. Salute chat. How's everyone doing tonight? How is everyone doing? Raider Kush is in the house. Woo. It's fire now. We got Raider Kush in the house now. It's gonna be popping off now. John Leon says, Isaiah Pola-Mao put on 25 pounds and supposedly moving to linebacker. Interesting. 25 pounds and moving. I got to talk to Isaiah. That's my guy. I haven't heard that. So whoever's putting that out there, I'll find out. Moving to linebacker. Is it linebacker or a kind of, I mean, come on. If you want to talk about what happened at SC, there was another safety by the name of Taylor Mays drafted in the second round. You Niner fans know what I'm talking about. Played under Coach Pete Carroll. And I ended up becoming friends with his uncle. Met him at Cheesecake Factory at the bar. Literally, we're just talking football. He said, hey, aren't you Beast? Don't you like work for the? I was like, yeah. And then we started talking. He's like, what do you think of Taylor? I was like, Taylor? He's like, yeah, Taylor Mays. I was like, oh yeah, I like him a lot. Like I thought I did. I thought Taylor Mays. Okay, you want to talk about a Beast receipt that got wrong? Calling myself out. I thought Taylor Mays was going to be the next Ronnie Lott. Boy, was I wrong. Where am I going with this? They tried to convert him because he was so bad at safety to linebacker. Didn't work out. So, not saying it's not going to work out with Isaiah. Shoot, that's my boy. I don't know. But I ain't hear anything. So, that's all I'm saying. I ain't hear anything. DMS says 42 and doing well, Kush, at work, listening to this Raider content. How you doing, brother? That's funny. My guy D-Menace is in the house listening at work. All right. Holly Tanner's in the house. She says, Beast salute. How you doing, Holly? I like your little avatar with your beanie. That's what's up. I've been wearing beanies before. Look, I started wearing beanies back in 20 religiously, like even in the summer. The Beast receipts check out on this. And I was wearing masks. Believe this. I was wearing masks inside the gym before COVID hit. I was doing that back in 2018. Back when I used to rave. Yeah, I used to rave. Your boy used to be a raver right here. Not joking. And I used to go all the raves back in the Bay. Bill Graham Civic Center. Oh, you already know. Marshmallow, Alan Walker. Who else we got? Any EDC fans in here? EDC's right here in Vegas. Anybody going to EDC? Look, I'm a big EDM guy. Marshmallow, Alan Walker. I know it's all mainstream, but I like these guys. Martin Garrix, Diplo, Jack Hugh. Here we go. Seven Lions. Like Seven Lions. Who else we got? W&W. Eric Prides. Who else we got? Elenium. Ooh, here we go. Do we got anyone that likes EDC stuff, man? I'm not the only one. That's all I listen to at the gym, by the way. Now I take that back. I listen to all kinds of stuff, including Disney music. I'll listen to Lion King. I'm there for a long time. I need to be entertained. But I wonder if anyone here likes EDC or EDM music. Like, am I the only one? Riddicker says, Taylor Mays, I'm right with you, Beast. I thought he was going to be the dude. Dude, I thought Taylor Mays was going to be and look, who was I? Where's my phone? I haven't talked to his uncle in a while, but we keep in touch here and there. He loves my stuff, by the way. Here, he's like, man, you're with the Raiders now? I was like, yeah. He's like, you can talk about, he literally's like, you can talk about any team. I was like, bro, I have a story about the Seahawks and Taylor Mays on draft day. Whoa. What happened there, John Schneider? Or should I say Pete Carroll? Man. Ritter Kush says, Holly, salute, sister. Good vibes only. Got good vibes only. Daniel Kim says, Taylor Mays was a freak athlete, but he had super stiff hips like you touched on earlier. That was his downfall. Couldn't flip his hips to save his life. Yeah, let's talk about this. What does that mean when a player, and we talked about this, right, Dan? That's the first time I called you Dan. Usually I call you DK or Daniel. But anyways, Daniel, when you visit me here in Vegas, I found just went there last night, a great Korean barbecue. I'm telling you, I'm a huge Korean barbecue fan. I found a really good one. I'm not joking. I think it's called Mr. Kim's Barbecue. I'm not joking. I think it's called Mr. Kim's Barbecue. It's delicious. I'm telling you. It's great. Anyways, going off topic here. But that's what I had last night. I was like, man, I'm going to treat myself. I need some beast gains after, because I was watching film. I was like, hey, I need to get out of the house. And so went to Korean barbecue. It was good. No, but you're right, DK. Stiff hips. So when we talk about stiff hips and turning in phase, do you take false steps? Because it's not as seamless transition as some players make it out to be. For instance, some players have stiffer hips than others, but make up for it in other NFL traits. Like, for instance, if you have not the fastest, again, we talked about it, if you're not the fastest athlete, but you know how to cheat your splits because you're very smart in game film breakdowns and doing your homework and not watching just 4 hours of game film like Kyler Murray. What are we doing? I don't know how. I don't know how you do that. Like, you just want 4 hours. That's it. Hey, coach, I'm just going to watch 4 hours. And this is what I'm talking about. Look, when you draft a player, there's a thing called football character and also a thing called passion for the game and obviously on-field performance. So there's a lot of different parameters here, but if you're just talking about a guy's ceiling, how can the guy reach his ceiling if he doesn't have the work ethic to kind of reach his potential? Like, for me, that would be like a big red flag. Like, yo, like, I know how talented you are, but if I have to micromanage you to watch something that you should be already doing anyways, and you should be loving doing it, it's not like a chore. It's more like, hey, look, I want to be the best, so I'm going to do what it takes to be the best. I'm not going to be drafting you number one. I'm sorry. I'll be like, I'm taking you off my board. Oh my God. I cannot believe that. I'm not joking. How can Kyler Murray only watch 4 hours of film a week? Or what, like, you know how many hours of film I watch a day? Like, and he gets paid millions. It's crazy. Holly Tanner says, Beast, my family asks me why I wear them all the time, even in the summer. Hey, that's your thing. Do it. I do it too. And people ask me why I do it. And I do it simply because I sweat a lot at the gym and I don't like the sweat going in my eyes. And also because I have a small head. I do have a small head. I used to be called, my good friends back in middle school called me Pinhead back in middle school. Anyways, we had these small AirPods, and then we would put them in our ears. And obviously, if you have a small head, obviously you have to be fortunate so I have smaller ears. And so the earbuds would come out. So I just put a beanie on top, boom, you're done. And it keeps your head insulated. So that's another thing. And if you want to sweat, that's the way to do it, So Reddicker says, hell yeah, EDC. You already know, bro. That's what's up. People in here. All right, there's 21 people in here. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what we're talking about in terms of having a guy who has fluid hips. And look, I talked to some scouts around the league when it comes to Kelee Ringo, and we talked about Kelee Ringo a lot on here, and I said I wasn't high on Kelee Ringo for a lot of different reasons. One, he has a lot of blown assignments, and two, he gives up too much grass when, again, we talk about this, right? Why does he give up too much grass? Because he has stiff hips. We talked about this, right? He has stiff hips. One game, he looks like a perennial Pro Bowl player. The next game, you're looking at, what are we doing? So again, it's a game of, here we go. It's a vicious cycle. Like 2 games, he has good games. 3 games, he has bad games. But if you're Howie Roseman, like, hey, man, let's get all the Georgia Bulldogs so we can have a national championship defense at the collegiate level because we have Nakobe Dean. We now have Jordan Davis. We now have Nolan Smith. We now have Jalen Carter. We now have Keely Ringo. Now we're going to go ahead and trade for Darian Kendrick from the LA Rams, who was in Dabo Swinney's doghouse while he was in Clemson. By the way, I like Darian Kendrick coming out. I did. I liked him. Covered him for 2 years coming out. You guys don't know who my guy DK, not you, Daniel Kim, the other DK. You guys are both DK, Darian Kendrick. Oh, man. Oh, Red Chris says, great to hear, Jack. I'm great. Can't complain. Taking notes from the beast. All right. So that's what I see from Jaden Grant. All right. So again, we've been on for 35 minutes and 54 seconds. If you guys like to consider sending me a super chat or super thanks or a super sticker, please be sure, and you're more than welcome to do so. Otherwise, just give this video a thumbs up and engage with me on this platform. I will get to those super chat questions first. If you have questions, I'm going to open it up. But if you have super chat questions that you want to send me, I'll get to those first, and then I'll answer everyone else second. But I will answer everyone as time allows. All right. So we are talking specifically on Jaden Grant. So again, where does he fit? Right? Because again, if we just talk about all these undrafted rookie free agents and talk about where they fit, where they don't fit, I can't do that. I must be 100%. I cannot do that. Why? Because I have to watch the film. There's like 10 players that I have to run grades on now. So again, this is what I see. This is what also when it comes to Keely Ringo. I had a 3rd round grade. Went in the 4th round. People had him in the 2nd. Some people had him in the 1st round. Oh, we should draft Keely Ringo in the 2nd, just in case he came in for a pre-draft. What I tell you guys, just because guys come in for pre-draft visits with the Raiders doesn't mean they're going to draft them. What also did I say? All right. So, we have so many people in here. Let's just talk about in general. Okay, we talked about we have 28 people watching right now. Just give this video a thumbs up. If you like what I bring to the table, also spread the word to other nations. We're trying to get to 10K subscribers. We are at 5,100 subscribers. If one person who is watching this just tells one friend to subscribe to the channel, we'd be at 10K tomorrow. So I'm challenging you guys to help your boy out. If you like what I bring to the table, definitely spread the word to the nation about what the beast receipts, about what we bring to the table from a predictive analysis, from the BPA, which it's not best player available. It's called beast prediction analysis based on what? Watching film. What a concept. What a concept. But again, aside from all that, my 9 to 5 is being there at Raiders headquarters Monday through Friday and up in the press box on game days. So, hence, a beat writer, that in a nutshell should be the selling point, right? Because I'm the one asking the questions. I'm the one that's interviewing the players and the coaches and inside that locker room on a daily basis. So, again, not too many people can say they do that. In fact, there's only like a handful of us. But it's truly an honor, though, right? It's truly an honor. Ridicus says, I got you, beast. Say less. I just sent 2 subscribers your way, fam. Oh, thank you so much. Also, subscribe to my guy, Raider Kush. If you want like Raiders content from a fan perspective, a lot of good content creators. I don't like the content stealers now. We already know about that. But the content creators that do a really good job and give credit where credit is due, those are the people I want to support. Because it's kind of like the professional thing to do, right? Like if you're trying to make it in this game, in the NFL media, you're going to have to be professional. And a big part of that is giving credit where credit is due, right? And I can't speak for anyone else, but let's just face it. If the roles were reversed and someone Like, there's a lot of good content creators on Instagram or YouTube or Twitter, whatever the case may be. But for my eyes, they're just in a working environment. If you were working on a project, right? Working on a project, you put in 60, 70 hours of film into that project or studying into that project. And then all of a sudden someone just stole that project and turned it in and you got no credit for it. How would you feel? All they did was they changed the cover and then changed the name from John Smith when it used to be Beast Rider. Oh, man. All right. We got Holly Tanner in here. So Jack Kenneth says, Holly is your show. Holly Tanner, promote your show. Promote the show. Do it. Do it. We got D-Menace in here. And thank you, DMS, for putting it up there. Definitely do this. Kikaha, yeah, I'm all about good vibes only. Look, I'm not. It's weird how people like, and it's kind of like a slap in my face when people say, "Oh, this guy's the best beat writer. Everyone else sucks." Like, hello, I'm a beat writer. I don't think I suck. They wouldn't call me the beast writer if I sucked. Let me write this down. This guy's so egotistical. I ain't give myself the nickname. Just saying. No, I think that's really disrespectful when people say that because they really don't know what they're talking about. There's a lot of us that are good, and everybody brings their own flavor and does a really good job at that. So I'm just going to leave it there. But when people say, "Oh, this guy is the one and only," I'm like, okay, we should do what the Niners do. If you don't know, now you know. We can do where we just go face to face, heads up, just talk ball. Kikaha Raider says, stop supporting a bunch of content creators after discovering your channel. Love the content, my friend. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Kikaha Raider. And I love engaging with you, my guy. We are all about good vibes only, but good vibes equates to honest vibes, right? And that's something that I want to teach and learn and learn from you guys as well. I mean, this is a very educational channel, right? When we come on a live stream, we're going to be learning from each other, right? I may have the platform, but you guys have the voice. Okay, cool. I'm a beat writer. Cool story. But I wouldn't be a beat writer without you guys backing me up, having my back. So again, we work together. So at the end of the day, it's like this. If you're trying to carve out your own niche within the Raider community, my best advice is do it with as ethical as possible. Like, have integrity, have trust, and then do the right thing. Is that too much to ask? Apparently it is. Holly Tanner says, I always promote bees. Thank you so much, Holly. I appreciate it. And look, you know, it'd be really cool. And again, I've been working, and again, it's a vetting process because I am a beat writer, so I have to be careful who I network with and associate with. Just putting it out there, transparent purposes. And I do that just like I did with the Niners. There's a vetting process, right? Because we have to protect the brand and the DOB and so forth. But you know, if you bring good vibes and associate with the right people or do the right thing, yeah, I'll definitely promote your stuff. But if you kind of like, I don't know, steal people's content, I think that's a bad thing. Or like, whatever the case may be. There's just a lot of stuff that's just like too much drama, man. I got enough in my life, man. I don't need the drama. All we want is good vibes. And there's a lot of good people like Samoan Raider, my guy. Mr. Fitz is my guy. They're very good content creators, and they always give credit. In fact, Samoan Raider, shout out to my guy Samoan Raider, and he's going to be hopping on here, by the way. Me and Samoan Raider are working on a collab, all right? So there's big things coming here in the DOB. I thought you knew. Work hard in silence. Let your gains be your noise. But look, Samoan Raider was the only content creator, actually the only person, period. He's the only person that when Jimmy Garoppolo got his Press conference postponed. He was the only one that gave me credit for my tweet, and I put it up there on the community page in real time. When people were asking why, the why behind why it was canceled, and I said, what? It was a contract snag, right? Talked about they were just working out the contract. And people, oh, is it injury related? Cancer? I was like, no. I literally was sitting there in the room at Raiders headquarters in the media workroom getting ready to interview Jimmy Garoppolo, and I asked. And I was told it was a contract situation. And then what happened? It was a contract situation. But who gave me credit? Who gave me credit for it? A lot of people speculated, but who gave me credit? Samoan Raider. So shout out to my guy Samoan Raider. I will always remember that. And it's little things like that I remember, right? Because in the fast-paced world where everyone's trying to carve out their own niche, you also have to remember that in order to carve out that niche, you also have to do the right thing, and give credit where credit is due. That's all I'm saying. Kikara Rage says, I should say stop supporting for lack of substance. Oof. Well, there's a lot of you guys. Just saying. DMS says, don't forget to like and subscribe to Beast. We got Space Chimp. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, how does Scott Turner fit as a passing game coordinator when we run the Earhart, Parkins, and what does Rob Leonard, bring to the defensive line room? I see what you're saying. Thank you so much for your super chat. I did cover this in earlier live streams. In fact, I will go ahead and post the video up on YouTube for you. Let me just go ahead and find it for you. It was on a live, and we discussed this. I think it was like last month. Again, if you haven't watched, every live stream, I'm going to talk about this because a lot of the questions that people have are based on live streams from yesterday, 2 days ago, last week, 3. There's no expiration date on my Beast analysis. So that's what I'm saying. If you haven't watched every live stream or caught up to date, because we do one every single day, be sure to do so. Again, you only have 24 hours in a day. What you choose to do with those 24 hours is up to you. But we did go ahead and cover this. And thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to post this up. I got to find it right now. But again, if you look at my power playlist in the community page, I have 12 playlists dedicated to specific questions like yours. Like when you have this question, you just have to go to a live stream, right? A pick 6 at 6 live stream or a blitz pickup, and we went ahead and talked about it. But if you scroll through the live streams, I did talk about this. In fact, I'm going to find it for you right now. I know for a fact I talked about this. Geez, we did a lot of live streams. But let me just go ahead and find this for you, my guy. Give me a second. Here we go. I think it was a month ago we were saying making sense of Raiders coaching changes. I believe it is this one. If it's not this one, it might be a different one. We do a live stream all the time. So I'm saying, if you haven't watched all, okay, here's one right now. I'm gonna post this one. Watch this one for all who want to know, on April 4th, 2023. So this was over a month ago that I created this one. All right, so I'm gonna post this up right now for you guys, so you guys can go ahead and watch this. And again, I'm going to post this up in the live chat so you guys can go ahead. And again, if you look at the community page up on YouTube, you'll see all my playlists, and it's categorized by training camp videos, by my locker room player interviews that you all come to love, and then obviously the coaches' corner questions from up in the press conferences, and then at Allegiant Stadium, pregame to postgame, and then again, the live stream. So there's a lot of good valued content that I have categorized in playlists, and it took me all weekend to do it. We had 796 videos. So you go back to 796 times to make playlists for you guys. That's what we did. But no, let me just go ahead and post this up for you, because I do think it's important. I do think it's this one. Obviously, I can go back once this ends. I'm going to go back and send it to you, but I just put it up on the community Sorry, not the community page. I put it up inside the chat for you, Space Chimp. So go ahead and check that out. I did answer that question for you. In fact, I broke it down. All right, the Eric Coryell offense and what he brings to the table. I broke it down for you. Also talked about the different personnel groupings that would be implemented in there as well. So again, there's a lot of cool stuff. And again, I challenge everyone, and that's going to help me a lot, right? That's going to help me a lot and kind of formulating the analysis, because you're going to want to watch all my live streams. Again, I'm being biased because it's me, but I put in a lot of work and effort. And I'd be damned if, and not upset. I'd be kind of like disappointed if you didn't watch those, right? Because again, you guys know the value content. So you can choose to watch clickbait if you want. You can, I mean, if that's what you want to do, like, hey, are they going to get, Patrick Queen? Are they going to get Buda Baker? Are they going to, we always downplay that here. Look, I always say if it's not coming from me or someone like that's a credible source, odds are it's not going to happen. Like, that's just the proof is in the pudding. Like, do you ever hear me talking about clickbait material? Like, oh, should we trade for, I don't know, Aaron Donald? I mean, like, obviously that's not one, but I mean, if you go down the list, oh, should we target James Bradbury? And I said, no, we're not doing that. Kate, but again, some people like that stuff for entertainment purposes. By all means, go. I just don't like doing it. I value my time just as much as I value yours, so I'm not gonna talk about something that's not gonna happen. KG, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. And again, you've been showing me love with the super chat and super stickers as well. I appreciate it. Jack Kenna in the house says Raiders Ray Farrell on your first show credit 100. Yeah, man, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jack Kenna. I appreciate it. We got to get Farrell and Raider Ray back on here. And again, those guys are also good. Really good. In fact, Farrell just reached 3,000 subscribers. So my hat's off to Farrell NFL. And Raider Ray does a really good job. In fact, they have a better, more professional looking backdrop than I do. Just putting it out there. Calling myself out. Check the beast receipts. Check the beast receipt of the Rays. Like, whoa. Check the beast receipt of the Farrell. Whoa. Or someone Redder. Whoa. That's some cool stuff. Check the beast receipt on there. Hey, man. But we're working on it. These super chat and super stickers help. We're gonna change it up once we have enough super chat and super stickers. Again, all the super chats that I get, all the super stickers, all the Venmo donations that I get in the description box below. Because I've been getting Venmo donations too. And Mika from Germany always says, "Hey, no one uses Venmo," and then he sends me a super thanks, which is awesome. That's the comment that he left on my latest pick six at 6 yesterday's live stream. But anyways, getting back to the backdrop, I got, everything gets donated back into the YouTube channel for all you guys. So I am going to get that fixed up once we have enough money for it. So thank you so much. And the super chat, super stickers, there is a separate fund for that. And yeah, so if you guys want to support the channel, you guys want those professional looking backdrops, man, we're going to be taking off pretty soon. Just right now, this is what we have to work with, right? And I'm not afraid to say this, right? Like money's tight for me right now. I'm just gonna say it. Like, money's tight for me right now. So it is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie, be like, oh yeah, I'm hella rich. I'm making hell. I'm not. I'm not. So again, then people are saying, dude, why you do so giveaways? If my friends are like, man, you shouldn't do giveaways. They just like your content. I was like, man, I still like doing giveaways. That's why I'm broke. Raider Vega says, tell a friend to tell a friend it's real here. The Beast Nation show. Beast, bring that fire to us all. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for the super chat and super stickers. Appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys want to donate, you guys can do that. Thank you so much, Jack Ken. I appreciate it. KG and Space Chimp. Thank you so much for you guys. And yeah, I did post that link up for you, Space Chimp. So check it out. I'm also going to post another link up if it's not in that one. Look, you're not going to want to miss a beat from my live streams. And I understand. Dude, there's some days I know some of you guys don't sleep. I'm not, man, I can only imagine. But the one thing that you could do is if you're on the ride home, If you need to catch up on the live stream, just have it on. Boom. Just play it on in your car. Bam. It's like a podcast in your ear. That's what people do. No joke. That's what people do. They say, hey, man, I'm stuck in Bay Area traffic. Y'all know San Jose, Sunnyvale, Mountain View, Cupertino, San Francisco, Millbrae, Burlingame. You already know. Fremont, 510. Let's talk about it. Traffic is a B on 680, 101, you name it. 580, Concord, Hollister. What else we got? Walnut Creek, Pleasanton. Shout out to the 925ers. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for the super stickers and super chats. It's much appreciated. And like I said, I want a better backdrop like Pharaoh and Ray. This definitely helps. This definitely helps for sure. A little goes a long way, and don't be shy. Like people are saying, oh, like I can't afford it. And that's fine. I'm not asking to. Just give this video a thumbs up and watch all my videos. If you watch all my videos, that also makes me money. Literally. So again, you're going to want to find value if you're trying to help to grow the DOB. If you don't know anyone, like I always say, refer a friend. But if you don't have a group of friends to refer, watch all my videos, right? That's the next best thing. In fact, that probably will help the algorithm even more so. And like the video and then watch it. And that helps out a lot. It really does. Kikaha Raider says, I literally replay your streams while my wife makes me wash the dishes. Hey, it makes the time go much faster, right? Makes time go much faster. It's one of those things where I enjoy doing these podcast videos, live streams, and I'll be honest with you, just engaging with you guys, this makes it worthwhile. And at times, do I get kind of like, man, times are tough right now. Yeah, absolutely. But if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I want to earn every inch, every yard, right? I want to earn every inch, every yard. All right. So we got Jeff from KC in here. You see, we got Chiefs fan 8. So we're going to talk about your KC team, Jeff. All right. So look, in order to know what the Raiders have or don't have, we have to look at the dynamics of the other 32 NFL teams. Simply put, we have to look at first within the division, right? Like, why would you delve outside the division? Because you have to know what's going on. Because those games are like a 1.5. You know what I mean? In the win column. Why? Divisional games are much more important because they're within the division and you're trying to win the AFC West. And so obviously that has an impact on seeding and so forth. So at the end of the day, you want to win your division, right? You want to beat the Broncos. You want to beat the Chargers. You also want to beat the Chiefs, who are the standard. Let's make no mistake about it. The Chiefs are the standard, okay? If you don't think the Chiefs are standard, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And honestly, I give unfiltered analysis. So if you're thinking like, oh, man, the Raiders are going to go 17-0, you're not going to find it here. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. If I think they're going to go 0-17, I will say that. If I do think they're going to go 17-0, which I never made that prediction on any NFL team, I will say that. But more times than not, it's like 14-3. It would be like 12-5, 11-6. Maybe 16-1. Never done 16-1 since they went to a 17-game schedule, by the way. 14-2. Never did that either. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about your Chiefs. Look, the Raiders are building up their defense. They brought in guys like Byron Young. They drafted guys like Neil Farrell, Matthew Butler last year, and then obviously drafted Byron Young in the third, number 70, and then they also drafted Nesta Jade Silvera, right? That's just the defensive interior line by itself. We're not even including Bilal Nichols in there. And then on the outside, you're looking at Max Crosby. They drafted Tyree Wilson, who, by the way, they really, really love. Obviously talked to somebody the other day, and they think this guy is going to be like something special, right? Well, the question for me is, you have Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson, Chandler Jones. You still have Malcolm Kuntz there, right? And then you have the linebackers. You have Divine Diablo, you have Luke Masterson, Darian Butler, and then that's a strong young nucleus there. Not like nucleus for the future, but it's a strong young nucleus that you can work with, and hopefully they can mold into something down the road. They're still young. I'm not going to be like, oh man, these guys. All right. They also have Robert Spillane, who they just signed from the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? And then you look at Brandon Faison, Duke Shelley, Marcus Epps. You still have Isaiah Polamau, who we just talked about. Christopher Smith, who got in the 5th round. Jacorian Bennett now in the 4th out of Maryland. So we know where this is going. You still have Nate Hobbs there. He can man up in the slot. Just talked about Jaden Grant, who can also line up in the slot, but also play a single high role. I see him more as a single high safety, or maybe a strong safety in a hybrid kind of dual role in the Patrick Graham kind of chess piece kind of schematic scheme. But hey, there's a lot of ammo there now. They're not just one-trick ponies there. But then you look at the Chiefs and be like, okay, why did they do that? Well, look at the Chiefs. They have speed on the outside. They win with speed despite not having Tyreek Hill there. They have Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They freaking made a trade for Darius Toney. And then they also have, people forget, they have Sky Moore there. And of course, they have a guy by the name of Travis Kelce who scored 4 touchdowns against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. I believe they had less than 30 yards of total offense by Travis Kelce in the receiving game, but had 4 touchdowns. What are we doing? But then there's layers to this. Then GM Brett Veach is like, okay, man, he had a problem, right? Every team has their problems. His problem was trading for Orlando Brown Jr. the year prior to that, because GM Eric DeCosta was like, nah, man, we're not going to give you left tackle money because Ronnie Stanley is our left tackle. And OBJ said, okay, then trade me. Trade me. That's kind of like the Bryce Callahan from draft day. Trade me. We're going to do what's best for the team. So GM Eric DeCosta is like, okay, fine. See you later. Goes off to Brett Veach. Brett Veach gets his blindside left tackle. Right? We all know this. Right? Eric Fisher's not there anymore. And then what happens? Then it's time to really see if Orlando Brown Jr. is going to get that contract extension. Oh, no. Did not happen. Did not happen. So then Brett Veach is like, oh, man, what are we going to do now? Let's go ahead and get Jawan Taylor from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow. And then Andrew Wiley goes off, and he leaves town to the Washington Commanders and Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera. So now he doesn't have a right tackle. So a game of musical chairs. Out goes Orlando Brown Jr. In comes Jawan Taylor on the right side. Out goes Andrew Wiley. And now in comes Lucas Nyong, right? Who they drafted, I believe, out of TCU. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I think he didn't play his first year. I think that was 2020 because of COVID. Correct me if I'm wrong. But again, you have a strong nucleus there at center because they drafted Creed Humphrey in the 2nd. They still have Joe Tooney, the guy from the New England Patriots. And they also have a guy by the, I think it's Trey Smith. Jeez, I don't know. I got to look it up. I think it's Trey Smith. Correct me if I'm wrong. Doing this off the top of my head. All right. So right there, and they have Isaiah Pacheco there, right, at running back. So you don't think they're going to be good? I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be good. And they have Pat Mahomes. So again, how do you stop that? How do you stop all that ammo? Well, look what the Raiders are like. Hey, man, we need to get some defensive players. We need to get some defensive studs. And that's what they did. So getting back to you, Jeff, just saying it, man, you guys have some stuff going on. We got to keep up. R Vegas says, yeah, like it up. Everybody, it's free. You have 17 people watching right now. Like this video if you like what I have to say. And again, in order to know what we have or don't have in comparison within the division, you have to know the division. Like you have to know this stuff. You have to know who the offensive line is that GM Tom Telesco is working with the Los Angeles Chargers. You have to know how he kind of formulates his team, how he builds up his roster, right? Right? You know, we talk about guys like Trey Pipkins. We talk about guys like Rashawn Slater. We can, Matt Filer's not there anymore, but they got him from the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? And then obviously they have Corey Linsley there, who they got from the Green Bay Packers and so forth. But how do I know all this? Because again, in order to formulate the analysis, I run grades on all 32 NFL teams. And we talk about Asante Samuel Jr. We can talk about J.C. Jackson, who had a really down year. Oh my gosh. But we have Derwin James there, right? So again, Nasser Adderley, who just retired. So again, when you look at guys on the back end there, and then look at what they truly have, with guys like Khalil Mack and so forth, it's kind of like, whoa, what are we doing? But again, it's a lot of work. Redicus says, Beast, fitness question. What are your thoughts on fasted morning cardio? I do it daily and have lots of folks asking about it on the show. So fasted cardio is something that's a staple for bodybuilders. I know for me, can't speak for anyone else, but my coach has me on fasted cardio from a bodybuilder standpoint and a strength and conditioning standpoint. Look, I talked to 3 NFL strength and conditioning coaches currently. We keep in touch, and there's various opinions on it. 2 agree with me, 1 does not. One says, I don't believe in fasted cardio because, you're going to be glycogen depleted, which is storage form of carbohydrate. And again, I'm looking at it like, but don't you want to burn fat? At some point, you're going to be burning the muscle. So again, it's very important to check your heart rate when you do cardio. So again, there's different layers to this. And again, when I personal train people, because I do online coaching and I personal train people as well, for those who don't know. So again, on top of, you want to know how busy I am, on top of doing this as my 9 to 5 here on YouTube, I also have another business, Bay Area Rooted LLC, and I also have, which is a clothing line. And then I also have my strength and conditioning online coaching programs that I have, and I also personal train privately. So, and getting to your question, I am a firm believer in fasted cardio. And for anyone that doesn't know what fasted cardio is, it's doing cardio in a fasted state. So a fasted state is anywhere from like 8 to 12 hours without eating and then just working out on an empty stomach. The cool thing about this is your body's going to there's some adjustment period to it. So whenever I have my clients doing that, I don't usually hit it hard. I don't say, hey, look, you have to hit fasted cardio for an hour. It'd be like, okay, you have to do fasted cardio for 15 minutes. Like just getting up and doing that, it takes a lot out of you, and your body's going to have to adjust. There's an adjustment period. There's times that you may pass out. There's times that you may feel lightheaded. I mean, this is just the grind. In order to sacrifice something, you need to gain something. How do I have ripped abs? How do I have a 12 pack instead of an 8 pack, instead of a 6 pack? Well, again, you have to have the mind over matter. Like your body's going to be put in a compromised position where it's going to say, hey, look, I'm not liking this, but do you give up or do you power through? That's the beast mentality that I have. And so again, I think fasted cardio is very important because you're going to be wanting to use fat source as the source of energy. So again, and if you're glycogen depleted, right? If there's no carbs to work off of and you're just working off the fat stores because you've been fasted, to me, that's a win. Like who doesn't want to work in a fasted? For instance, I did a fasted workout today. I didn't eat. I went to the gym and I worked out. And so that's just as good because now you're getting a fasted workout. Now, some people will say, oh, well, how do you have energy to do that? I was still pushing 225, no problem. Like sometimes I'll have more energy than if I ate something and went to the gym. Like I'm just saying. Now, to each their own, everybody's body operates differently, but at some point you're going to be burning the muscles at some point. So where's that fine line? It's a kind of like a trial and error, right? It's a trial and error. So I firmly believe in fasted cardio. I do it almost daily, and I do it because I believe in it. Like every bodybuilder, uses some form of fasted workout or cardio. And then you wonder why we look the way we do. Sacrifice. Daniel Kim says, if I can make a suggestion, when you do well alone, but a good vibe as well, when you're able to bounce ideas and thoughts off another person on the live, the show with Case was really good. Well, we need people that want to collab with us though, too, right? And we got to be careful. But yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 110%. I think we should have more people on here. But at the end of the day, we all know how that goes. R. Vega says, let's talk tomorrow night with Casey and Hondo to discuss the schedule tomorrow night. Let's talk football. I would love to talk football aside from the schedule. Schedule is going to be the schedule. I want to talk football. Let's talk UDFAs. Let's talk about the players that were drafted. Let's talk about the why behind why we think in our own analysis that player is going to be good or bad. That's what I want to do. I think we should do that. I think that would be a better source of information and value to you guys from our perspective here in the DOB is talking about the players that were here, not so much about the schedule. The schedule is a schedule. So whether or not they play on the Black Friday or whatever the case may be, I mean, that's kind of like, for me, that's kind of like, is that really like valued content? Yes and no, because it's the schedule. But I would rather just talk about the meat and potatoes of the why. Like, that's just me, like, literally. Um, I would want to have them on the show and just talk football. Just talk football. Like, for instance, we can talk about the Chiefs. We can talk about the Chargers. We can talk about the Broncos. We can talk about what they did and how the Raiders are kind of countering their plan and the schemes that they run based on watching game film, or not watching game film, but what they see and their ideas and thought processes and everything. I think that would be really cool from a beat writer perspective. Raider Kush says $4.99. That was a complex answer about the fasted cardio. Thank you for that. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. It's what I do, man. I'm Evogen Elite, bro. No, I appreciate it, man. Look, we can talk football. We can talk about fitness. I'm not a one-trick pony, as Coach McDaniels would say, or GM Daisy. I'm not a one-trick pony. All right, we went on for an hour and 10 minutes and 45 seconds. If you like what I have to say and answering your question, please consider sending me a super chat or super sticker like Raider Kush has already done, and so many have before us. Let's give a special shout out to those that are ready. Space Chimp, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I did put up the link for you up on YouTube, so hopefully check that out. KG, thank you so much for the super chat. And super sticker. I really appreciate it. Jack Kenna, thank you so much as well. Really, really appreciate it. And of course, Raider Kush. All right. If you guys want to send the donations, keep them coming, and we'll keep this live going. All right. So John Leon says, do you think Renfro would be traded? If so, what's his value? Yes, I honestly think that Hunter Renfro will be traded. We talked about it with Case. Case said it was going to be a day 3 pick, right? So a 4th round pick or later, that's kind of what Case kind of sees it at. I was kind of viewing more of a 3rd round pick, to be honest with you, but with the concussion history that he's had in recent memory, right? No pun intended, but I mean, let's face it, he had a concussion. He was dealing with I think a rib injury. He kind of came in out of shape, right, when training camp started. So he's already behind the learning curve. Didn't make a real first impression. Now there can be some, how will he do this time around? But at the end of the day, you drafted Trey Tucker. Like, where does that leave Trey Tucker? You don't draft a guy in the 3rd round to be a primary kick return specialist, right? Like, let's just be honest about that. Like, he's going to be used in some type of slot role. Like, come on. I mean, you wouldn't expect him to play the X receiver position, right? The split end, right? Come on. Or the flanker. He's going to be lined up in the slot. So I think ultimately he's going to be traded. I don't think that's a question. That's not a question. And remember when people were saying the same thing with Josh McDaniels, Coach McDaniels, oh, did he lose the locker room? And I said, I was very consistent from training camp into the year and into the following year, which would be this year. What I say, I said, no, he did not lose the locker room. I talked to a lot of different players. They're telling me the same thing. And again, all the players are going to give you the answer that you think is best served for the team. But at the end of the day, if you build up rapport with the players and they will trust you in telling you stuff that otherwise, you kind of know as fact, and you have to decipher between fact and fiction, because again, if they say something on record, like, oh yeah, man, Coach McDaniels, if that was the case, the fact, somebody would have said that. No, Coach McDaniels did not lose that locker room. And I said that I was very consistent with that. Same thing applies with Hunter Renfro. Like, if you were to ask me last year if Hunter Renfro was to get traded, yeah. But he's a top 5 slot guy. So it's like, okay, at what point do you say, let's trade Hunter Renfro like we did Darren Waller, right? And people say, oh, we could have got a second for Darren Waller with the Green Bay Packers and Brian Gutekunst and blah, 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 blah. But hey, if you were to trade Darren Waller at the trade deadline, you're basically throwing the white flag mid-season saying, hey, man, sorry, Derek Carr, your season's over. They weren't willing to do that because they were still fighting for a playoff berth at the time. They weren't mathematically eliminated yet. So why not? Right? And same thing applies with Hunter Renfro. So again, now that all that has passed and Darren Waller was now shipped off to the New York Giants and Joe Shane for what? A 3rd round pick, number 100 overall. To think that Hunter Renfro is not next or could potentially be next, I think is going to happen. Now it's going to have to happen after June 1 because of salary cap ramifications. But at the end of the day, when you look at the parameters of it, where does he fit? Me and Case talked about this. They have DJ Turner there. They already have Devontae Adams, right? Now I'm not talking about slot position in general. Just look at the wide receiver room, right? When they go into the wide receiver room, it's Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. I'm pretty sure they're not going to cut Jacoby Myers, right? So that's 2 players right there. What's the target share between those players outside? We're not even talking about the tight ends, Michael Mayer, but you don't trade up for a guy like Michael Mayer to only be targeted like 40, 50 times. This guy's going to be targeted a high volume of times by Jimmy Garoppolo. How do I know that? Because I covered Jimmy Garoppolo with San Francisco, and it's outside of George Kittle. He used Ross Dwelly a lot. When those guys were in line and they were in the game, he'd like to use the tight ends. People, who's Ross Dwelly? Go look up Ross Dwelly. And now they have Cameron Latu out of Alabama. But anyways, here we go. That's 2 guys. You got Philip Dorsett. He's on a 1-year deal, so maybe he doesn't make the roster. I don't know. They got Trey Tucker, right? So Trey Tucker's guaranteed to make a spot, right? I mean, come on. So you have Trey Tucker there. You have DJ Turner. You have all these guys in that room that makes you think like, oh man, like where does this leave DeAndre Carter? Remember, they got DeAndre Carter. And again, I covered him in San Francisco, so I know where he lines up in the slot. Like, what are we doing? Like, okay, so you have DeAndre Carter there. You have DJ Turner. You got Cam Sims. I forgot Cam Sims, who they get him from Washington or something like that. So it's like, there's not enough. I mean, where does he fit? Where does this guy fit? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. All I do know is he adds trade value. Now, do I want him to get traded? What I want and what I actually see playing out are 2 different things. Like, those are 2 different parameters. But I don't want him to get traded. I like Hunter Renfro a lot, but it's not up to me. I think he's going to get traded. Now, watch me be wrong. I think he's going to get traded. My gut feeling is he's going to get traded. Now, if we're looking at the teams that might trade for him, what are the scheme fits? We can break that down if you want. If you guys want me to talk about this, we can do that. And then I'll run the grades on that, and I'll come back with my analysis on potential scheme fits and what it would take and the valuation versus evaluation on Hunter Renfro. I like Hunter Renfro a lot. Top 5 slot machine when healthy. Keyword, when healthy. All right. All right, so here we go. Let me just go ahead and put something up here. And again, if you guys want to donate to the channel, you guys can do so. Feel free to donate and give this video a thumbs up. That is free. So either or, it's all good. All good. All right. What we got going on here, man? Get you some of your questions here, and then we'll go. All right. Unto Six Soldiers is Beast. Thoughts on the undrafted free agent right tackle we signed? After run grades on that. So I haven't had time to run grades on it, my guy. So that will be coming up. So that's something to look forward to on the next live streams, or those are forthcoming. But again, like in order to run these grades and hop on the live stream and just talk about Jaden Grant, that takes a lot of time, dedication, and sacrifice, right? So, um, like I said, we're gonna keep it 100 in here and give you authentic engagement that you won't find anywhere else. Roy says, question: what would it take to get Fletcher Cox in your opinion? I wouldn't want Fletcher Cox. That's my opinion. I wouldn't want Fletcher Cox. He's too old. He's past his prime. When running the game film and running his grades over the past 4 years now, I see a guy in the decline. I think that's why they signed him with that 1-year deal. I think he's more of a household name at this point, and I think that's why they got Jordan Davis and then also traded up for Jalen Carter. So again, Fletcher Cox to me is a good player, a good locker room guy, a good veteran presence, but I wouldn't go after a guy like Fletcher Cox. I would say a hard no on that when running a game film and evaluating his game over the past 4 years. I see a guy in the decline. Jack Hill says, I don't care what others read our draft. I'm just for me and strong opinion. Peeps that just listen to others are just sheep. Oh, Jack Henna coming out with some fire. Jack Henna sounds. Jack Henna bringing the heat. Oh man, I love it. I don't care what people say. I know my truth. Remember that movie on was it Blended? I know my truth. You got bit by a shark? I know my truth. Like what? What are you talking about? Oh, that was funny. On decisions, Beast out of first and second year defensive tackle, who has more potential to become an amazing pass rusher? I talked about this. I think Neil Farrell. I know people talk about Byron Young, but I really like Neil Farrell. But as from a pass rushing standpoint, I'm gonna have to reserve comment until training camp rolls around. Again, I can't make any analysis until after watching practice and seeing how these guys kind of have. There's things I look for. I already have them written down, right? Just what like when I go into an interview or a press conference with the coach or getting ready to set foot inside that locker room with the players. I have a game plan. I know what to look for. I know what to ask because it comes down to the game film. When it comes down to knowing the why behind the question that you're asking, I have to watch practice. And there's things that I look for because I have it when evaluating the game film that these guys need to work on this, this, and this. If I don't see that transitioning or translating from year 1 to year 2 or from college to the NFL in some capacity, I'm going to point that out. And that's where the Beast receipts come into play. So again, stay tuned for that. If you guys like this stuff, which I know you do, share this stuff to all your family and friends and tell them about Beast Nation here in the DOB. Space Chimp says, which D line do you see not making the cut? I think Butler's on the bubble. Maybe Tillery? Oh, I don't know. That's a great question. I have to watch training camp. I like Matthew Butler. That's my guy. R. Vega says, teams who would want Hunter Renfro, Cleveland, Giants, New Orleans, Falcons, and Carolina. Any team that needs a wide receiver. Any team that needs a wide receiver. All right. We've been on for an hour and 23 minutes and 25 seconds. If you would like to send a super chat or super sticker, please feel free to do so. We have 22 people watching. Please hit the like button. I'm just going to take a break right now, get a sip of water because we've been on for a while. Just give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. I'll give you guys some time to do that. And it would help out with the algorithm a lot. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We have a lot of people watching this right now. And again, we wouldn't be here without you in my corner. So all of you in my corner. So there we go with that. All right. So I'm just gonna give you some time. We have 50 likes right now. Let's get those likes up a little bit if you're just tuning in here, and we'll continue. Oh man. You know, when you talk this much, it takes a toll on you. Tian Jiang says, are you going to be at this week's rookie minicamp? You know what? We didn't get the press release, us beat writers. So what I've been told is ever since they moved to Vegas, we were not able to attend minicamp. Now, again, I wasn't here last year because I was covering the Raiders remotely right before minicamp started, and then once training camp started, that's when I started covering the Raiders as a full-time beat writer. So this would be my first time living here in Vegas, but what I've been told is I don't think they allow Raiders beat writers at rookie minicamp ever since they moved to Vegas. Now I could be wrong on that, but that's what I was hearing from somebody. Also, I know with the 49ers, we have direct access, and I talked about this yesterday on the live stream, TN. We had direct access to rookie minicamp. In fact, the videos are up on my Instagram at Beast Rider. Again, if you guys want to follow me on other social media platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, it's in the description box below at Beast Rider. So again, you see this right here at Beast Rider, right there at Beast Rider. That's where you guys can find me. And that's where all my social media is. So again, Beast Rider, here we go. Right? If you guys are on those social media platforms, do yourself a favor and follow me and spread all the, I'll be posting my IG stories of the live streams up in my IG story, right? So again, what you guys want to do is share that post. I'll get the notification. Onto Six does it. Alvaro does it all the time. And then I share you guys. So it's kind of cool. Kind of works both ways. Like I give you a shout out, but you give me a shout out. So it kind of works both ways. And that's how we grow the DOB. Now people are going to go to that link and be like, oh, what the heck is this? Who's Beast Rider? Oh, that's the guy that Dave Ziegler was saying beast. Beast. But yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I have no idea. We'll find out soon enough, though. We will find out soon enough. But as far as I know, nothing came through my inbox as I'm looking at it right now. So that's something that I will follow up on because I would like to know. But I don't think so. And if they did, I certainly don't know about it, and I should. No, you shouldn't. No, honestly, I don't know. I'll find out though for you guys. But that's what I've been told. Kikaha Raider. So if I had to take a guess without knowing the facts, I would say no. But I don't know. Any idea why Kuntz didn't get much playing time last year? Been waiting to see what he's got. Kikaha, if you want to see my locker room pulse interviews on specifically Malcolm Kuntz, they're in a playlist that I made. There's 12 playlists that I included for all you guys who are new to follow me, or maybe you followed me during the year instead of the beginning of the year, or maybe you followed me a few days ago or a few weeks ago. Check out those playlists and he will talk to you about it candidly, straight from Raiders headquarters, because I ask him these types of questions. So again, this is why from a beat writer perspective, it's really good that you guys want to follow me, because I will provide insight, because I can kind of gauge what the nation wants. Like there's only so many people that write about certain things, and then at some point you're going to have to come up with fresh content. And so for me, and again, I can't speak for anyone else, but how I do it is I come in with a game plan. Okay, I kind of have an idea of where the storyline's going, right? Because we need that. That's something that we obviously have to report on because that's our job. But then there's things that maybe diamonds in the rough that I kind of want to talk to this player, see how he's doing, developing and so forth. And so again, I think it's good, right? Like you got to think about it from a player's perspective too. It's like if you go into a locker room and all the media is just focused on like the few star players and you're not getting any love to anyone else, not like it's not like a pity party or anything like that. But I think it's really valuable to talk to those guys because a lot of those guys want to talk. Like they want to talk to you, and so again, that's how I've always done it with the Niners, and that's how I've been doing it with the Raiders, and it's been well received. So you guys always like my locker room pulse interviews, aside from obviously the press conference interviews as well. So I'm glad you guys like these, right? I'm glad you guys like it, and I'm glad you guys like the flavor I bring to the table, because again, these are questions that as we enter, again, I thought about this going into this year. So I was already forward thinking on things. As I'm running grades every single week on NFL teams, I'm thinking like, okay, why is Malcolm Kuntz not playing? Let's talk to Malcolm Kuntz today. Let's see where his pace is at. Let's kind of get in the mind of the Buffalo product. What is he thinking? Right? We talked about Malcolm Kuntz. That's just off the top of my head. We talked about the weather. But Malcolm Kuntz is a great guy, great person. I wish him well. But yeah, he talks about what he was working on and stuff. So again, check that out, Kikaha Raider. It's my 2022 locker room pulse interviews. It's in the playlist. It's one of the 12 that I made. Boogie says, run those likes up. R Vegas says, do you watch practice film? I don't get practice film, but I do record practice videos, if that makes sense. That would be really crazy if I got practice film. No. The answer is no, but I do record training camp videos like all media has access to, as much as media allows us to, and then practice videos, I'll be posting those up as much as media allows us to. So as far as posting videos, yes. But as far as getting practice film, definitely no. That would be crazy. I have the practice film. That'd be hilarious. All right. So we have 19 people in here. I know some of you guys are new. 49 likes. Give this video, or 50 likes. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. Please do that right now. And spread the word to all your family and friends. We've been on for an hour and 30 minutes and 44 seconds, by the way. Jack Ken says, good night, nation. All right. See you later, man. Salute, Jack. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, man. Yeah, hit that like button, everyone. Let's get those likes up. We have 50 likes, and I know there's more than 50 people in here. So we should have a lot more than that. Let's get those likes up. Please do a solid. Get those likes up. If you can't donate through a super chat or super sticker, that is free. Not asking for just asking for a like. A like is worth 1,000 hugs here in the DOB. It really does help the algorithm. So give this video a thumbs up. Really helps me out a lot. Daniel Kim says, I'm excited for this year as the team is more shaped in the way that Ziegler and McDaniel wants it to look. Yes, absolutely. Boogie says, thinking outside the box makes you stand out from everyone else. You know what? Thank you so much. And I talked about this on my live stream. I think it was 2 live streams. It might have been last night, actually. And I was talking about how my parents taught me to think outside the box. Like, I have to give credit to my parents for raising me into being the man I am today, one with integrity, trust, and all of that, right? Loyalty, honor, and respect, obviously. But aside from those things, they also taught me to always think outside the box. It's easy to think within the box, but when they actually teach you to actually be creative and use your creative side of your brain to think outside the box and see things from a different lens, that really irritated me at a young age because it forced me to do things and think about things that I otherwise wouldn't know how to even start thinking about those things. Does that make sense? Like, so looking back, when you as a kid, you're like, why do I do that? Like, I remember my dad when he taught me basketball. He's like, no, I was like, okay, so the goal isn't, we didn't have a hoop. All right. So we didn't have a hoop. We had this ledge or this awning. And I remember at the age of 4 years old, I started playing basketball when I was 4. Actually started playing sports when I was 4. I was in gymnastics, soccer, basketball, you name it, baseball. All right. So anyways, so basketball was my sport. And my dad would always say, okay, I want you to shoot, right? And just hit it on the ledge. And I was like, man, why do I do that? It's like, cool. So I was doing it the granny style, right? Because that's the easiest way for a 4-year-old kid. And you're trying to touch a, eight foot. Nah, it was like 9 foot. It's like a 9 foot little awning there. And my dad would get pissed at me. He's like, no, man, like, I want you to do it like this. Like, I want you to kind of shoot like that. I was like, man, I'm 4 years old. He's like, hey, man, do you want to be good or not? Like, right. And so from the age of 4 to 4th grade, I was starting to get recruited by junior colleges and colleges. In 4th grade, 3rd grade, actually, I was getting recruited by Foothill College, De Anza, all those colleges back in the Bay Area in the 4th grade. And I testament to my dad, like, again, in order to sacrifice and be good at what you do, you're going to have to like put in work that otherwise people don't want to put in. Everybody wants to take the easy road more times than not. If you take the unbeaten path and carve out your own niche, people will respect that more because they know the grind that it took for you to go that route. Does that make sense? So this is kind of like one of those things. We can talk about football, but we can also talk the game of life too. Like in the game of life, I always say nothing is easy. Everything is earned. Like literally everything is earned. People want to see the trajectory to success, but a lot of times they don't want to talk about the bumps and roads to get there to that. It's not a straight linear path. Anybody who tells you differently is ridiculous. So, yeah. DMS says 4,200. I appreciate that, though. I do think outside the box, man. Yeah, sure, definitely. 2220, 2220. DMS is posting the locker room playlist. Thank you so much, DMS. I appreciate it. And again, it's in the community page, right, on YouTube. So again, subscribe to the channel, flip on that bell notification. All right. I always check my analytics, so be sure to flip on that bell notification as well. Really helps us out a lot. On to 6 says, Beast, how did you get into being a writer? Okay, so long story short, well, we have time. We're on for an hour and 35 minutes. Okay, so I was an insurance broker before, and I was in the insurance game since high school, right? And again, for those who don't know, I actually grew up on the east side, San Jose. So where Jim Plunkett played high school at James Lake High School, I worked right across the street off Alum Rock, right across from Peter's Bakery. And so this is called fate, like in high school, okay? And so like throughout high school, throughout college, I was slinging insurance. And so I was opened up my agency. And at that time I was like, man, like I always had throughout that whole time, I was always engulfed in mock drafts and football. And I was a big Niner fan at the time, growing up as a Niner fan. My family had front row season tickets at Candlestick dating back to 1990. So again, I was very well connected to the 49ers. And still are today. But it was one of those things where I just loved talking about football. Didn't matter which team. It could be the Jacksonville Jaguars, it could be the Carolina Panthers. I remember back when Carolina Panthers, back in 1995, I think that was the first game at Candlestick that they had there. It was a preseason game, if I'm not mistaken. It was on August. It was mid-August, 1995. I believe they had Moose and Muhammad, guys like Wesley Walls. They had all these guys on the team. And I was like, man, those jerseys are dope. You know what I mean? Like those are pretty cool jerseys. Tim Batuka, I think, was on the team. Maybe he came a little bit later. I don't think he came during the expansion time. Maybe he did. But anyways, if you guys remember Tim Batuka, say that 10 times fast. And he was a running back. I believe he was number 21. And, I was like, man, I just love football. Like, here I am, in third, fourth grade. And I'm like, man, I like these guys, like football. And they're not even the Niners. Like, of course, you had John Taylor, Brent Jones, and Jerry Rice, of course, and Steve Young and Ricky Waters and, all those guys. But, yeah, and that's how I kind of got into it. And throughout that time frame, once I hit college, I was making these mock drafts. You guys saw my Beast receipt back from 2007. I literally did that from San Diego State, my dorm room in San Diego, living in San Diego. Actually, no, I was living in La Mesa at the time. So right across the street from where Alex Smith and Reggie Bush played their high school football, that was my backyard. So it's funny. And then once I started doing these mock drafts and kind of just learning about the NFL game and everything like that, I was like, man, I'm going to start a blog. Started a blog back in 2012, and 2013 was named, I don't know if you guys can see that here and pull it up, was named top area blogger by NBC Bay Area News. And just kind of took off with my predictions, my analysis, my locker room pulse interviews, my coach corner interviews with the players and coaches. And so, I gained respect from them. And then that's kind of how it took off, is seeing things from a different lens, doing things that, and predicting things that otherwise, that's why Chris Borland called me Beastradamus, like, because I was just making these predictions based on watching game film. Like, and again, it's a lot of legwork, but I was very passionate about what I'm doing. So that's how I got into it. Shortly thereafter, I also doubled down on that, got picked up by Bleacher Report, Fansided, CBS Sports Radio. And at the time I was like, man, I was wearing so many hats at that time. I was just like living on a high. And yeah, and then kind of just took off. So yeah. Jay Express says, what is your rank of teams in AFC West? We missed the playoffs last year with Broncos not being good and Herbert playing injured all year. If we miss playoffs again, we really getting better. It's all relative, right? It's all relative based on the team that you're building. And so I would say I would reserve comment on this one, because again, you have to know what other teams are doing around you, right? For instance, like take, for instance, you talk about the Denver Broncos. So the Denver Broncos have what? They have Cortland Sutton, they have Jerry Jeudy, they have Tim Patrick, who is coming off injury. They also have some guys here, right? Like if you look at the offensive tackle, they still have they still have Garrett Bowles there, one of the highest paid blindside left tackles, and they also had to bring in right tackle Mike McGlinchey. If you see what George Payton is doing with the Denver Broncos, he's bringing a lot of the 49ers. The year prior to that, brought in K'Wan Williams, brought in DJ Jones. Those guys are two defensive stalwarts on the foundational base of DeMeco Ryans' defense at the time. And before that, Robert Saleh. So how do I know this? I covered, obviously, coming from San Francisco. So I can kind of see what George Payton is doing there and building the team from the inside out. He drafted guys like Lloyd Cushenberry from LSU, if I'm not mistaken. They also obviously got a guy by the name of Ben Powers from the Baltimore Ravens. So again, when you look at what they're doing, and then they drafted Quinn Miners. I had draft grades on this. And then again, when you take it back to 2021 and the Pat Surtain draft, and I say Pat Surtain is the most fundamentally sound cornerback coming out since Ahmed Player back in 2000 out of The Ohio State University. You also have Kareem Jackson there, Justin Simmons there. You know what I'm saying? So again, when you look at the dynamics of within the AFC, Baron Browning, right? They drafted Baron Browning there, if I'm not mistaken. There's guys there that you look at and be like, man, these guys are good. But at the end of the day, how much better have they improved? Because they lost players as well. So again, it's all relative. Each year has its own identity and creates its own beast. So again, we're going to have to see how this one plays out. But again, in order for me with analysis, you have to know all 32 NFL teams. And again, hopefully just by doing this, there's nothing in front of me right now. You guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. And that's why I say, when people talk about this player being good or this player being bad, for me, I like taking it a step further and comparing that to the other teams, not only within the division, not only within the conference, but within the entire NFL. Boogie says off the 8 freeway. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely off the 8. You already know. And you say the 8. It's not 8. It's the 8. In SoCal, it's always the 8 or the 15. I also lived in Poway. Actually, I was LaDainian Tomlinson's neighbor up in Poway. Believe it or not. Yeah, he lived in Poway. I wanted to know was Sean Merriman. I think Sean Merriman lived somewhere in the area, but I think he was more toward PB. I don't know. Sean Merriman. You guys remember Sean Merriman, the Lightning guy? The Lightning guy. All right. So we've been on for an hour and 42 minutes and 27 seconds. If you guys like what I have to say, give this video a thumbs up. And if you like the beast analysis that I provide on the daily, please do so. And subscribe in the lower right-hand corner of your screen right here. So there's a red subscribe button. You guys can subscribe to the channel. And then from there, be sure to turn on and flip on the bell notifications. Look, we need subscribers here, right? If you guys like the content that I provide on the daily, you're going to want to subscribe. Why? Because when training camp rolls around, it's already too late. Why? Because I'll be posting videos, and if you guys notice, if you guys follow me on Facebook, if you guys follow me on the other social media platforms other than YouTube, you guys will know I'm not really posting on those social media platforms anymore. Why? There's only so many hours in a day to do all that. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to post on YouTube. If people know about it, they know about it. If they don't, that's their bad. I can't force feed people to follow me. It's up to them. They don't have to follow me. They can choose to follow who they want to follow. But again, I'm not going to be the one force feeding them because it's their lives to live, right? If they want to not follow me, that's all up to them. Boogie says, Merriman, salty on social media every season when we beat the Bolts. Yeah, man. I never actually met him. He used to get, gosh, I think I'll just tell you the story. So we went to PB one time, me and my roommate, and for some reason I went back early. I was drinking, but I went back early. I wasn't driving. I think me and my fraternity brothers got a taxi back to the fraternity house. So we went back to the house, and my roommate was there, and then with his friends. And then Sean Merriman pops in PB. I think it was PB Bar and Grill. I can't remember. That or the Tavern, one of those two. I don't even know if the Tavern exists anymore. But anyways, I come back to my house from the frat house. and fraternity house. And then my roommate, for some reason, his face is all bloodied up. And I'm like, man, what happened to you? He's like, dude, I just got in a fight. I was like, well, who? He's like, I don't know. What do you mean? I was like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, dude, I don't know. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not good. And it turns out, I don't think it was Sean Merriman, but I think he was like Sean Merriman's crew got in a fight with them for like, I don't know what it was about. I think it was probably over a girl or something. It was like, oh my gosh, crazy. I don't know if Sean Merriman was fighting or not. I don't think he was, but I just remember that story. So every time I think of Sean Merriman, I think of the crew that got into a scuffle with my roommate and his friends. I was like, dude, good vibes only. What the hell, man? He's like, dude, I know I should have just left with you. It's like, bro, good vibes only, dude. It's just crazy how 49 fans have been to the playoffs. 49ers have been to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl, shuffling through quarterbacks injuries, and again are the number one team in the division. And the Raiders are always going to be last because of our quarterback. Well, I think the way the 49ers are built up, I think it's a little unfair because I don't think we can't pinpoint it strictly on the rotation of quarterbacks. I think what you have is there's two different blocking schemes. One's a power-based run, the other one's zone blocking scheme. The other thing dynamic I want to talk about this is the 49ers had the number one ranked top 5 ranked defense, right? So they had guys like DeForest, but let's go back, right? Go down the pipeline. They had guys like DeForest Buckner, DJ Jones. They had guys like Nick Bosa. I mean, that's 3 guys right there just in 1 year. They went ahead and got obviously Fred Warner in the 3rd round, right? A few years prior to that. So they got that homegrown talent that they got otherwise didn't think, or in their eyes, was worthy of a 1st round pick, but ultimately ended up being a first team all pro. So you have Fred Warner, the quarterback of the entire defense, the heart and soul. Once DeForest Buckner left, that was Fred Warner's job to take over. And then you also have guys like Dre Greenlaw, right? These guys are like really fat. They had Aziz Al-Shaair before he moved out to the Tennessee Titans. And on the back end, you had Jimmy Ward, Jaquaski Tart, 2 guys that played together back in high school out of Northern Illinois in Sanford University. So again, these are guys that have been together for a very, very long time. So the continuity was there. And then you bring in guys like K'Wan Williams, talked about it with Robert Saleh when he was first signed on, and what I saw in training camp and why I really liked K'Wan Williams. And here he is today. Now he's on the Denver Broncos. And then you look at guys on the one thing I will say is, they had Richard Sherman. He had 1 good year, but then kind of tailored off, right? So really, they've been injury riddled on the boundary quarterback position. I mean, you look at Dio Lenore, you look at Chance Warmack, you look at all these guys that they have on the back end there, especially on the boundary, right? And say, okay, well, every team has their faults, but or flaws in their game, but at the end of the day, it's like, I think GM Dave Ziegler and Coach McDaniels are on the fast track to success, and I say that because I truly believe that. It's not fluff. It's not, saying things that I otherwise wouldn't think. They just had less to work with. And that's not a knock on any of the players that are currently on the roster. I'm just keeping it 100. Like, they just had less to work with. You have to have the horses to keep up with the horses. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember I used to say this, and some people that I work with were kind of laughing. Oh, we have the horses. It's like, no, you really don't, though. When you look at the landscape of the other 32 teams, you don't have the horses to contend within the Kansas City Chiefs and some of these other teams, So again, it's a game. Every year has its own identity. I can see and sense the frustration. But at the end of the day, again, it comes with a grain of salt because, again, in order to know how good the team is really, how good the team really is, you have to know the dynamics of the other 31. There has to be some basis on that. So when you talk about like we just talked about the Denver Broncos, we talked about the Kansas City Chiefs. Those are 2 teams within the division. We can talk about GM Tom Telesco and what he's doing with the Los Angeles Chargers, right? And we talked a little bit about that. So how these teams are being formulated and built up, whether from the outside in, inside out, whatever the case may be, from top to bottom, at the end of the day, you have to have the horses. And if you're telling me right now, based on how the roster is set up, can they contend for a Super Bowl? I'm not going to doubt them and say no. But if I was to place a bet today, look at the odds. What are the odds here in Vegas telling you? So again, we have to be honest. I think the plus minus on wins is 7.5. If I was to be a betting man, based on how I see this opponents coming out, I don't, yes, schedule plays a role and so does weather and all that, but at the end of the day, it's like, are they a 7.5, 8-win team? Absolutely. Right? Are they better than last year? Absolutely. I think there's not even a question if they're better than last year, because look at what they're doing in building the team that they want. They're not listening to you. They're not listening to me. They're not listening to anyone else who I work with in the media workroom, right? Who's a beat writer. They're not listening to us. Of course, they watch all our stuff, I'm sure. I mean, what team doesn't? But to think that they would do things outside of their comfort zone, I don't think that's their MO. Their MO is, hey, look, we're not going to listen to the noise. We're just going to do what we think is best, and this is how we see it. If you don't like it, that's your bad, because at the end of the day, the instant gratification versus the long-term gains that we talk about here in every parameter of our videos here in the DLB when peeling back layers of onion to really get to the core is this. At the end of the day, if I go out, I'm going to go out my way. And my way is I don't see myself going out because of what I'm trying to build here. And again, I talked about it before Mr. Davis even said it later on that an empire wasn't built overnight. Right? I said this in training camp. I said there's going to be some type of process. Oh, we're going to go to the playoffs. We're going to do this and that. I said, based on what my analytics were telling me, I had a 10-win season. That was my baseline. So hope that makes sense. R Vegas says, what's so sad is that the other creators are following him and then going on YouTube and acting like they have the inside source when the inside sauce is right here, Beast Rider. Yeah, man. I mean, this is 100% true. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's funny because people internally, externally have talked about it. People I work with have talked about it. So it's not like it's something that's a secret. It's just, it happens. Look, I can't control other people's actions. I can only control what I can control. What I can control is, again, Coach McDaniels talks about this. Dave Ziegler talks about this. How do you overcome adversity? This is adversity, right? Like, how do we stop this from happening? We could call him out. I mean, would that be wrong in doing that? No, because it's their bad that they're doing it. So kind of like the proof is in the pudding. Check the beast receipts. But look, we all know what goes on. In fact, there is a follower on Twitter, right, who doesn't follow me anymore. He used to follow me, and he literally said, let me look for that comment. He literally said, and he's a season ticket holder. He literally said this on my Twitter account. He said, everyone in the Raiders, literally, he said, everyone in the Raiders knows that people follow your stuff, but you shouldn't be mad about them following your or stealing your stuff. And I'm like, wait, would you be upset if someone stole your car and painted it a different color and then said that's their car? He never got back to me. He just unfollowed me. It happens. But we all know it happens. Like, it literally happens every day. But hey, some people just don't have integrity. Right? Just calling it how I see it. Like, people just don't have integrity. Like, people don't know how to use their own brain. What do you want me to say about that? Daniel Kim says, if and when you're listening to them, suggest following Beast and put up his YouTube channel and tell them. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, Beast is not good. No, he's not. He's wrong. Check the Beast receipts. Oh man, like, oh man. And it happens. Like, the funny thing about this is, like, people get upset when they get called out for doing something wrong and then go on the defensive. You're on the defensive because you know you're in the wrong. So why don't you just do the right thing? Isn't that the easiest thing to do and the respectful thing to do and the good vibes only thing to do? Yeah. But people don't have that. They don't have integrity. Daniel Kim says, tell them about what he really brings to the table. Yeah, absolutely. Shows bring their style with a lot of window dressing, but very little substance. There are a lot of creators that mine social media for their info because they're not in the room nor watching hours of tape. Yep. Like, I guess I feel like saying no comment. No comment? Look, everybody follows everyone. So it's not like you don't know what's going on. Like, if you want to know the answer, we all follow the same people. There's your answer. Boogie, there's certain creators on here who actually got mad at certain beat writers for calling it out. Yeah. They got mad. Oh man. For calling out the truth. Speaking facts. Boogie says, I think most of us know who they are. I think we do. I think we know who they are. DK says, I commented for you, my brother. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. It's I don't know. And here's the thing. I don't know who all the people are. I really don't. I don't have time for that because I have my own grind that I'm focused on. So this is what I'm focusing on. Focusing on pushing out the best content that I can provide, and whether people want to piggyback on my analysis, pass it off on their own. That's their own judgment day with the guy upstairs, not mine, right? That's their own thing that they have to look at themselves in the mirror and say, hey. And again, I don't know who these people are, but I know it's happening because all you guys are pointing it out that it's happening, and it's very like disheartening. It's very concerning, and it's very unethical. Let's be honest about that. Like, would you see me going to someone else's stuff or some other content creator, stealing his stuff, stealing his graphic, for instance, and then posting it and then using that as my thumbnail and being like, oh yeah, well, who made that? I did. I just painted a different color. Like, what? I was talking to some people who follow me on social media, obviously, and they know what goes on, and they laugh. Like, they literally laugh about it. They think it's hilarious. They're like, why can't they just come up with their own stuff? And the answer is simple. We came up to the answer is simple. They don't have the bandwidth to do it, number one. Number two, they don't know what to look for. So they would rather do what you guys are saying. Whether or not to eat, it's not even a to each their own thing. It's just wrong. But it happens. I mean, it happens. 21 of us watching right now. We've been on for 1 hour and 58 minutes and 22 seconds. If you like what I have to say and you like the content stealers content that I provide on a day-to-day basis, please give this video a thumbs up as it pertains to your Raider Nation. Got a lot of the content stealers on here. It's great. All right, so we have 55 likes. Let's get those likes up a little bit and help out the algorithm. Please sure to do that. We've been on for 2 hours, so please do that right now. I appreciate it. And again, I just want to give a special shout out to those that already gave me super chats on this live stream. Special shout out to those. And again, I just want to say thank you, right? Thank you to all you guys for doing that. It really means a lot. It really helps out with the channel and the algorithm, and it makes making these live streams worthwhile, just to be honest with you, because time is money, right? Like, being on here for 2 hours is a lot of time and effort, but then what about behind the scenes, getting ready to prep for the show and talk about this with no drop off in production or no awkward pauses or anything like that? We're just talking ball. It takes a lot of time, sacrifice, and dedication. But thank you so much, Space Chimp, for your super chat. Really appreciate it. on today's live stream. Thank you so much, KG. And if you're watching the replay as well, you want to donate, you guys can do that like Mika Germany has so many times over, like KG has, like some of you other guys have. You guys can do that through a super chat. A super thanks on the replay. So again, the replay is just as good. Also, if you would like to donate on Venmo, there's a Venmo donation. The link is in the description box below or in my channel art on YouTube at Beast Rider. All right. So just if you have a Venmo, everyone does. You can just search for me at Beast Rider. And you guys want to send me a donation, you guys can do so. And just drop a comment or something. Thanks, or you suck, whatever. I never got a mean one though. But hey, if you want to get a super chat and be heard and be like, hey man, no one cares about people stealing your stuff, here's a super chat though. Hey, I'm all for it. Raider Kush, thank you so much. I appreciate it on the giving you that 101 on the fasted cardio. Daniel Kin says, be honest with what you're watching when listening to other creators. How do they know what they're saying when they don't watch tape or know how much tape to watch or how to watch tape? Beast literally just said this. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, there's no way. There is no way. No way, Jose. It is what it is. He said what I was typing. See, great minds think alike. But everyone knows it's happening. Not everyone, because if everyone knew that was happening, then I wouldn't only just have 5,100 subscribers. So again, they're growing because they're stealing my content. We're not. So it's time for the Beast Nation and DOB fam to stand up. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I had a lot of fun on this Pick 6 at 6 live stream. I'll be hopping back on tomorrow for our Blitz pickup at 6 p.m. Once again, for our Wednesday show. Again, if you guys want to know the daily schedule rundown, it's up on the community page on YouTube. It's up in my About section on YouTube. It's also in every description box here on YouTube. And again, every Monday and Tuesday, we do a Pick 6 at 6 p.m. live stream. Every Wednesday, we do a Blitz pickup at 6 p.m. live stream. Every Thursday, we have a Don't Miss a Beat from the Beat, someone that I work with, a fellow beat writer I want to highlight, give credit, and love to every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And again, we have a fourth and goal segment, which is a rundown of the news, notes, and quotes from around the league and throughout the week as it pertains to the Silver and Black at 6 p.m. So again, the theme here is 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Get it? Got it. All right. So again, thank you, everyone. Daniel Kidd says, be a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. Road to 10K. Yeah, definitely. And then definitely, Pharaoh just hit 3K, so happy for him. Maybe we can hop on with Pharaoh. Maybe we can get some of his subscribers in here, the DOB fam. Maybe Pharaoh can give me a shout out. I know I've been giving Pharaoh a shout out on all the live streams, and I just told him about it too. So he's well aware of it. So again, it works both ways, right? It works both ways. So I'm there to support Pharaoh. Hopefully he surpasses me, right? Hopefully he surpasses me. Boogie, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And D-Man says, don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. Yeah, thank you so much. And again, I had a lot of fun on this live stream. If you're watching the replay, be sure to send those comments and drop those comments below. But tomorrow we'll be hopping back on. And again, if you can't donate through a super thanks, a super chat, or a super sticker, you guys, or a Venmo donation, you guys can donate your time by simply watching my videos, and that will help make me money and make these videos and creating these live streams worthwhile. So again, watch all my live streams, watch all my videos. That's just as good as making or sending me a super chat, a super thanks, or a Venmo donation. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'll be hopping back on tomorrow for another Blitz pickup at 6 p.m. live stream. Take care. Have a good night. Beast Rider out.